Hello, I think we're live. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry about that. I was having some issues there with the buttonage on the screen. How are we all this week? It's lovely to see you. There's lots of you turning up already. You may notice that Jeff is rather prettier this week than he normally is. Well, actually, what's really happened is Jeff can't make it, and we're joined by the lovely Tara Joy from the Wilf's Field campaign. I'll call it that for now. We'll go into greater details later. So if you were looking for Jeff tonight, he's not here. How are you? How are you, Tara? You good?
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks for bringing us on.
Welcome to the show. There's lots to talk about with Wilf's Field coming up. But for now, I just need to sort of say hello to everybody. The usual thing, as Jeff isn't here this week, is I'm going to be doing the comments. So please do look for a complete collapse in the quality of our answering, because I'm rubbish at it. But you're all coming in already. It's lovely to see you. Let's see who we've got here. We've got Andrew Norris was in earlier. Hi, Andrew. We've got, that's me, Glastonbury Gabriel. We've got Roland Barr. Hi, Roland. Sweep the Cat's in. Hi, Sweep. Ed Hesseltine's in. We've got the Wandering Ponder. Hi, Dave. Good to see you here. Kathy's here. A Moment of Murphy. Now, I will remind you at the end of the show, but next week, don't forget, there's no Station Master because it's being hosted by young Andrew there, A Moment of Murphy. So I've told you now, I'll remind you again at the end. Last thing Jeff said to me when he said he couldn't come, he says, don't forget about the moment. Okay, I won't forget. So there you go. Wandering Ponderer, nice to see you. Bernie, nice to see you. Lots to talk about tonight, Bernie. We've got, as I say, the lovely Tara here. We're going to be talking about Wilf's Field. Hello, Arwen, sorry. And who's is that? I can't read. Dragon 432. My eyesight isn't good. I've got a light in my face. I've got writing over there. And this is why Jeff normally does it. So let's start. We've got Tara with us tonight. And that's great because in the next week, just over a week, there's going to be an auction. And the outcome of that auction will have quite far-reaching consequences. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off, I'm going to show you a short clip from the video that I did about this when I went and met Tara and some of the others up on the hill by the gate to the field. And then when we come back, we'll talk to Tara a bit more about what the project seeks to do, how it seeks to do it, how the auction works, who Wilf was. I mean, Wilf, if you didn't live in Glastonbury, I can tell you Wilf was a major character. Anyway, let's have a look at this clip here from the video I put out a few weeks ago. Here with Serena, Tara and Seamus. What is your organisation all about?
Well,
who are you?
We've set up a community interest company for the local community called Friends of St Edmund's Well, because in this field that you can see, there's one of the old wells of the hill, which Wilf, who used to own this land, his mum told me was called St Edmund's Well.
Right.
And as you can see, this is going for auction. And basically the residents who border the field, that's Selwood Road, Monington, a leg of mutton, whiting, we've all clubbed together to create this community interest company in order to hopefully, fingers crossed, buy it at auction.
Right, before we go any further, for people who don't live in Glastonbury or maybe don't know and they've had their head under a rock, who was Wilf?
So Wilf was a wonderful old farmer, Wilf Peddle. His family had farmed for generations on this land, and he was known locally in town as the Eggman. He was. Because he had a lovely old Morris Minor van, which was from the 30s, that he kept running in immaculate condition.
It was like a showroom model, wasn't it?
Showroom. It was gorgeous, and he trundled round town once a week delivering eggs to everybody, because at the bottom of this lane was the yard where he had his egg. Well, his hen houses. They were kept in houses.
But when it snowed, he delivered by sledge, didn't he? Which is an incredible thing to think of, somebody delivering eggs from the top of the hill.
Because
He was a
quite
legend.
steep in places, isn't it? Very steep.
Wilf was loved by so many different people in this community. You didn't need to talk to him to love him. We all who lived around did talk to him, but he was just so special to so many people.
So this field was his. You're reclaiming it for the neighbours and the town of Glastonbury in his name.
Absolutely. We're calling it Wilf's Field, and all of the leaflets that we're putting out, and within the CIC that we've set up. So it's very much Wilf Peddle was the farmer, and we want to keep this land, which never had a chemical on it. It's purely farmed in the way it's been farmed for generations. It's fully organic. It's always had cows on it. When I first came here 42 years ago, the whole field was an orchard of cider apples, but year on year the trees have blown down because they were planted after the First World War by Wilf's grandfather. Wow. And so the orchard needs replanting, and that is one of the things we'd like to do, is replant a mixed fruit orchard as a memorial orchard, so that people can have their birth of their child or the death of a loved one remembered within the orchard. So it's a proper community place for the community, run by the community.
There you go. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. So how did you get involved in all this, Tara?
Well, it was actually, it wasn't me that started it. I had a leaflet come through the door one day that said a few residents on Selwood Road were concerned about it being developed and Wilf having passed away, and I'd like to come to a meeting to see what we could do about it. And quite a few people got to that meeting. It was obviously a lot of people concerned, and all of us from our different backgrounds, different parts of the community, mainly Windmill Hill really, all of us had a common love for Wilf and really strong feeling that we wanted to protect that orchard. We'd love to protect all his orchards, but that one particularly held something particularly special for all of us.
And I've been up there. It is an amazing piece of land, and you plan to re-orchard it, don't you?
Yeah, so we all came together and decided, okay, we want to protect it. We want to keep it from being developed in the sort of way that is going to destroy the habitat for all them wild animals that live there. And what would be the vision that could unite us all, because we all have different ideas. And the one thing that we all came down to that we could all agree on was protect it as an orchard and restore the orchard, and that we all wanted it to be heritage, like the local varieties of fruit trees. And one idea that we felt that could really bring something extra to the community was establishing it as a memorial orchard. So when local birth, deaths, weddings happen, trees could be planted, plants could be planted and cared for in honor and memory of them special events, so that something continues on and grows from them special local events that happen.
That's good. That'd be lovely. And of course, Wilf is a well-known character. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about Wilf the man and why it's, the memorial to him is so important to so many people, because he touched so many lives, didn't he?
He was really incredibly special in the and your video touches on a bit about how important he was to so many people. I've also been thinking about, I don't think people fully realised and appreciated how much he was a caretaker here in Glastonbury. Him and generations of his family have protected and taken care of that land, so that it's been a home for so much wildlife, because he didn't use all the chemicals and used traditional methods of farming. It preserved something that's here in Glastonbury, that's Glastonbury. So,
Yeah, I think we're losing you a bit there, Tara. I don't think your signal's terribly good up the hill there. Let's see if we can get you back. Sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. We are having some signal problems there with Tara, so it looks like I'm flying solo. Sorry about that. So yes, the idea being is that the money will be used. Hello, I think we might have Tara back. Let's have a look. Yay! Hello, Tara, you're back.
I'm sorry, I don't know what happened.
Oh, it's a signal issue. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so you were talking about Wilf.
I'm not sure how far we got to, but him and his family have preserved a part of Glastonbury and been the caretakers of a part of Glastonbury that I think we all reap the rewards from, but we haven't always realised fully how much Wilf was doing to look after that. And now that he's no longer with us, and it's a great loss to the community that he's no longer with us. Now that he's no longer with us, I feel it's important for us as a community to stand together to protect part of his legacy, what he's done and created through his lifetime.
I mean, my contact with Wilf was through the Mockerberry. You can still see the Mockerberry notice board up on the wall there. He would come in with his trays of eggs, and there Ali would take them from him, and they'd have a natter, and he'd wander off, and his little van would be parked outside. Oh, Wilf, how you doing, mate? Yeah, nice to see you. Oh, yeah, and he was just there. He was. I hate to say part of the scenery, but you went into Glastonbury and there was Wilf in his little van. It was part and parcel.
He was also no messing. He was also no messing. As a child, I remember going in his orchards and him chasing me out of the orchard from scrumping his apples, and I never went back into that orchard again.
Oh.
But as an adult or a teenager and an adult, when I was no longer terrified of him, I really got so many lovely moments where we'd just stop and talk, and he was a very kind, gentle person. I loved watching him out the back windows, and I remember one day watching him, and he was there with the young bullocks, and he had his back to most of them, and one particular one was jumping in the air and steaming straight towards him, and he just turned around and he just put his hand out like that, and it just stopped mid-air and just landed on the ground. It was just this incredibly gentle moment where a young bullock that was very excited and looked like he was about to jump on top of him just stopped. And he was like that. He was a gentle, strong but gentle presence in the community.
That's so nice to hear. I'm just going to go, and I have to break off occasionally and look through the comments, and then we'll come back to you. So I'm just going to see what's being said here. So Barry West has told us about the pier in Western-super-Mare, and they're going to be talking about that later. Rojo, hello. Kathy, hi. Station Master, hi. We've got Tracy Murphy here. Who else have we got here? I'm so crap at this, but never mind. Somebody's got to do it. Hi, Gabriel Burney from Tracy. Lots of people saying hello. Ian McLaughlin's here. Hi, Ian. How you doing? Jeff isn't with us tonight. If you're wondering why I'm struggling through here, Jeff is really, really busy. He's got a long run on and he's heading down towards New Orleans with a load of stuff on the back. So because he don't forget, 8 o'clock here is midday in America where he is at the moment, and he can't just stop and drop everything. He's a truck driver. He's got a job to do. So that's why you're stuck with me tonight. But if you're out there listening, Jeff, hi, buddy. We are thinking of you. And Tara's waving as well. And Emma's there. Hi, Emma. So getting back to what we're doing, talking about Wilf's Field. By the way, if you've got any questions, anything you want to ask Tara, please feel free in the comments there. Do ask away. You've set up a CIC, which is a community interest company. So this is on a legal footing and everything, isn't it? It's not just a bunch of hippies. Oh, let's buy a field. This is on a commercial footing. You're doing this, isn't it? Which it has to be, I guess.
We wanted to find a safe way that we could all work together to buy it together, but that it wouldn't be owned by any of us individually, that it would be something that could continue on after we've gone. And so we've set up the framework and the aim so that whatever happens in the future, it has to comply to their aims that we started off in this very beginning point when we set up the CIC. And none of us have any more right to it because to the direction that we go, all of us together will sculpt it and hold on to these original aims that we start with.
And that's brilliant. So the next stage is the 25th, I believe, the auction, isn't it?
Yes, so the 25th is the day of the auction. We were hoping to have all funds in by the 18th, that's tomorrow. And really, anybody that does want to donate, the sooner the better. So the 18th is wonderful, but we've extended it. So we had a small buffer zone. So up until the 25th is when we're taking in donations. So it would be incredible for all donations to come in. It's been totally inspiring the way the communities come together and to do a campaigning, networking. There's just so many different people from the community working together to help this vision to be realized. But we've just got a last push, and we've given ourselves a goal of 20 to 30 grand in this next week, which seems potentially large, but it's not so large really when there's so many people that care about it.
I've got to sorry carry on.
We've got one of the things I feel we haven't shared quite enough is that the founder members who put in £500 at this point as a donation, they will have a lifetime membership. So we're just putting it out more, broadcasting it now at this point, that anybody who would like to donate £500 at this point will have a lifelong membership, that they won't own the land, but they will be they will always have a vote in what we do ongoingly through all the work that we do over all the years, and have the choice if they want to be in the steering committee or if they'd like to be a director. Any of the members have that as an option, so it's a lifetime opportunity. And this point, if anyone that would like to become a member at this point, they just have a real chance of making a massive difference to us.
I've seen the comments. Somebody called Rojo. I can't see him in my eyesight. I think he's part of your organisation because he's answering the question. Sweep the Cat asked, "Was it the family that are selling the land?" And he stepped in and said yes.
Uh,
And he also pointed out that you
uh,
guys have worked really hard to get to this point, haven't you? I mean, it's not just
it,
sitting around talking about stuff. It's a lot of work going on.
there's been a lot of background work, whether it's grant applications, whether it's writing our papers, writing all the framework that makes us the CIC and how to keep it as safe as it possibly can be, so no one person can change the direction. It's just taken a lot of work and to and fro in, and it's wonderful. Rajo is actually one of the two people that initially put round the letter to say this is really important and we need to do this, and she's a wonderful person and she's been with it all the way through. She's not a director, but her partner is one of the directors. Yes, the question was, is it family who is selling it? So because Wilf didn't leave a will, his his estate went into probate, so it took many months for it to go through probate, and they found lots of family members, some of whom were quite distantly related, and I think there was approximately 20, I'm not sure the numbers, but there were quite a few people. So they as a whole decided they wanted to put it up for auction so that they could all get the best out of it. So there wasn't an individual that we could appeal to try to buy it separately from.
I see. Well, Roger, thank you for dropping by. It's great to see you. You're very welcome. And you know, I as you probably know, I'm fully behind this, and I want to see this succeed. Now we are planning. By the way, in relation to what we were talking about just now, you do have another week to help this via crowdfunding, and I just so happen to have this. Now, if I hold this here on the screen like this, you'll be able to hold up your smartphones, and it will take you directly through to the crowdfunding for this field. So please, if you do, feel free. There you go, it's got its square now. Do feel free if you want to. I'll hold this here for a little while we talk, and then I'll put it down. But so okay, so the auction is next Friday.
Thursday,
Thursday, 25th. So let's assume, for argument's sake, let's just go on a mind journey. You've won. The field belongs to the CIC. What happens next? What are the next steps? What can we look forward to?
Okay, so once we've worked out the legal process of buying it and everything, we will then we will be looking at all them maintenance things that have been put aside while Wilf has not been there and it's been empty land. But our vision is to have it as a place where, as you know, we're restoring an orchard. So we will be hopefully bringing in members of the community, people that would like to join us in working on restoring the orchards. And we want it to stay as a quiet, peaceful haven for wildlife. So it won't be a constantly open to everybody, open all the time through the public all the time, but it will be a place where at different times people can come and commemorate special events and take part in regeneration and conservation and learning about conservation. And we hope in the future it will be a place where things like forest schooling or small events that are in harmony with it still being maintained as a wildlife haven. And we want to regenerate the well, so bring it back into a working order and have it as a as a water source that can help in times. It's very important to have these water sources for the community.
Mm.
Yeah, so a place where at different times through the year people can come and take part in conservation, or just have a beautiful haven where they can be and enjoy the beauty of it and the nature, but in as a quiet place.
And it's interesting because where you are up on the hill, if people, I'll put that down. If people don't know Glastonbury, Glastonbury is a town in two parts. You've got the town, and then you go up the hill, and you've got the bit up the hill, which is kind of St Edmunds, isn't it, where you are? And it's quite a steep hill, and unless you're quite fit, walking up it is what's the word I'm looking for?
Workout.
Expedition. It's a workout, yeah, isn't it? I mean, you live up there, you don't drive, but it's nice that there's something going on up that end of town for a change, because everything always happens down at the bottom, but this is something kind of unique to what's going on up there. And of course, Will's farm was up there, and he grew up. I mean, those trees that you can see in the background of that original film were planted just after World War One. And of course, obviously, over the years, windstorms and things, they've come down. But you were giving away apples on the market from the last couple of weeks from those very trees. Is that right?
No, so we weren't given apples from those trees, because at the moment we don't own the land or the trees. But what we were doing, we were giving away apples mainly from gardens that overlook those orchards, but us different members of the CIC, we have apple trees in our gardens, and we brought or orchards in one case, and we brought the apples out as a way to meet with people and talk with people. But it really, to me, it seemed like a perfect thing of giving and sharing, and this surplus fruit that some people have that is treasure to other people. And that's really what it feels like. It would be wonderful that this orchard is. It's a place of sharing, of the community sharing. I really look forward to seeing people, young and old, coming and taking part in growing trees together in this orchard. It would be wonderful to see more people from Wimmer Hill coming and taking part. The more of these things where people can be part of something together, growing something, sharing, I feel like it helps for there to be a more healthy community.
I think you're right. And of course, by virtue of the fact you're planting trees, this isn't something that's a short-term project. This is ongoing, isn't it? This is a long-term project, which is going to involve, it will involve us, our children, our children's children, etc., etc.
I think it's something that can really help with mental health. There's a lot of isolated people in the community, more and more, and them simple ways where people can practically work together for something that feels positive for the future for the community, but where they're meeting people and not having to explain themselves, who they are, what their job is, how many, all of these things that they get concerned about, and they can do something that they commonly feel is a positive thing for the community together. I feel like it's something that we're missing, and we could do with more things like this. And I feel it could actually fit a need that maybe we didn't know we had, but it's just come at the perfect time for the community.
Right. Look, I've just got one of the things we have to do on this show each week at this time. We have a public service to perform. One of our members has to take a tablet. So I'm just going to put his reminder on screen. Back in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, this was brought to you at no expense at all.
Master, please take your prescribed medications now.
As I say, brought to you at no expense whatsoever. We go to great lengths to help out here on the channel. So there you go. Well, that's fantastic. This is the question I don't like to ask, but I'm going to have to. You lose the auction. What happens? I mean, I know it's how long's a piece of string, but have you contingencies if they're going to start trying to plan houses? Have you got a backup plan?
So initially, we will be working on getting the funds back to the people that have donated funds. So people that donate, if we don't succeed in buying the land, we'll be working on getting it back to all of them people. If there's any, we've had a small collection pot during the market, and some of them £10, £5, there's no name attached. So once we've paid off the legal fees that we'll incur just for going ahead with it, then anything extra left over will go to a local project with similar aims as us for conservation, helping people. And we will still continue doing our best to protect this orchard. So we're going to have to, we're not planning for a plan B, but we just don't know what's going to happen. But if we are unsuccessful in the auction, we're not giving up on this orchard. We're going to do our utmost to protect it, and we'll just have to come together and meet and see what the next step will be. We don't have a definite, I definitely can't speak for the whole group on this as to what our next step will be, but I do know that we're not giving up on it.
Yes, well, I wish you nothing but success. It really is amazing. I just really hope that we win this, because I mean, from a selfish point of view, just think of the videos I get out of it. But it is amazing up there. It is. I looked at it from Serena's back of house as well, so I got a different view than the view that I got during the film. In fact, I think I used it as B-roll. But it's beautiful. It's a lovely field, and the view from up there. I mean, with some more apple trees.
It's beautiful to look out across that orchard, and you look down across the whole Mendips, and so often I look down and there's deer just running through it or sitting, or foxes, and the amount of badgers that have visited my garden all my life, and watching mothers and baby badgers just below my window coming from the orchard and then scuffling back through the hedgerow. It's really precious, and these are the pockets surround our communities that we do need to protect. They are what help the community to stay rich and strong, and I love the idea of thinking of more different parts of the community working together to plant trees together and help it for future generations. I think it would be a great loss if we don't all together take this opportunity. So I think we've got all the chances, and there's so many amazing people in this community. I'm optimistic that we can do this, and we've had such wonderful response back from people who for generations their families have been here, or people that fell in love with Glastonbury and came from far afield. But from so many different parts of the community, we've had a lot of positive feedback, support, and people saying, yes, we want this.
Yeah, that's a lovely. Sorry.
If people would like to donate, they can donate through the crowdfunder, but they can also, if they don't like going through the crowdfunder, they can email us directly. Our email address is simple. There's no dots or interesting punctuation in it. It's friends of St. Edmund's Well @gmail.com. So yeah, they can email us if they have any problems with that. You can search Friends of St. Edmund's Well in Facebook and message us directly. And if you're not able to scan that QR code, I think you can just type into Google Friends of St Edmund's Well crowdfunder, and it brings it up straight away in Google.
Oh, good. That's perfect. Well, that's fantastic. Absolutely. We've got to move on now.
Okay, thank you so much for giving us your time. I really appreciate all your support, and we've got 1 week, and I really look forward to being there at the auction and seeing what's possible.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I can imagine you were telling me yesterday the party's already planned in your head, isn't it?
Well, it was lovely actually. In August, we had out on the green on Selwood Road, which is the road adjacent to the orchard. We had a just bring tea and cake, and I made loads of cakes, and and Serena, she made tea, and we put up a gazebo, and we had just people come, and it was such a lovely atmosphere. People coming and bringing cake and sharing it. I think we should be preparing for a celebratory party.
Absolutely. And if there is, and I hope and pray there is, a celebratory party, it will involve cake.
There will be. If we get it, there will be one that's available. Everybody will be welcome, and definitely there will be cake for you and everybody.
Absolutely. And I will be there to report and to check that the cake is of a standard. I mean, you know, we have certain standards to maintain around here when it comes to cake. But yeah, anyway, thank you, Tara. It's been an absolute pleasure. You can hang around if you like, in case there's any more questions. If you don't want to go, please hang around. Or if you want to go, then please go. But you're welcome to stay. I'm going to start reading some of these comments, because there may be more questions in there, and I'm hopeless at these comments. What I'm going to do, I'm going to change the subject. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move on to another subject now, and that is a new market. Well, I say new market, it's been going 2 years, but Glastonbury's traditional market takes place on a Tuesday. But some enterprising local people who have a passion for the town have started another market. And this one takes place just once a month rather than weekly. And it takes place, and it's centred on St John's Church, halfway up the High Street. So I went along a few weeks ago to see what made it tick and just to have a look. This again is a shortened example of the actual film that I made, but this is just to give you an example. Again, if you don't live in town, this may be the first you've seen of it. Why don't you watch my videos? That's the next question. Anyway, let's go. I'm going to push a button over here somewhere that says market. There we go. The last Saturday in August, and there's a reason why I tell you that. So the reason I told you the date is because that is the date on which Glastonbury's newest market takes place. It's centred here on St John's Church, halfway up the High Street, as opposed to the marketplace down at the bottom of town. And on the last Saturday of every month, you can come here, and there is a whole range of really wonderful stalls. Most of this is made or sourced locally. Sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. Here making things. So let's go in the church and find out what's going on. Well, as you can see, lots of stalls and pretty dogs. Hello. So let's go take a look round, shall we? So as we wander through, loads and loads of things you can buy. Look at this. Absolutely fabulous. It's great. The previous vicar of this church oversaw the removal of the pews and their replacement with chairs that could be moved around. Now, I'm a great fan of that because I'm a big believer in the church being the centre of the community. Now, this is the church being the centre of the community, and you could not do this if it had pews. And also, if you go back into the history of churches, pews are largely a later 16th, 17th, 18th century addition. Churches never had them before. They were open meeting spaces. So it's nice to see that, and this means that we can have a market like this in here when we need to. And many other things take place in here as well as the market. But this is really good, and there's artists everywhere, and it's both inside and outside. So as we go back outside, we can see as you enter, you look back down, there's a row of stalls there that you can see, all selling different things. And most importantly, right over here, the Mr. Whippy machine. Ah, that's the one for Indra Don Francisco, our ex-mayor, who is here with a stall. Now, she just told me that part of this is going on further down the high street at the Market Square. So I suspect what we need to do is go and have a look down at the Market Square to see what's going on there. But first, that lovely lady came to tell me she had some eggs. Let's go and find the lady with the eggs. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the rather amazing tea and coffee stall here at the back, and I can tell you the reason that chocolate cake is nearly all gone is because it's absolutely fabulous. I had a piece earlier, it's incredible. Now, over here, they're doing hot breakfast as well, and I said earlier on, oh, it's a shame you haven't got eggs. Well, this lovely lady approached me 5 minutes ago and said, I've got some eggs, so I'm back, and they're cooking me an egg sandwich. Thank you for this. Look, ladies and gentlemen, double egg sandwich. It doesn't get much better. Huge thank you to the wonderful ladies and gentlemen behind me in the little pop-up cafe here. Well, I'm back to report that egg was those eggs, in fact there were two of them, were the most beautifully fried eggs I've had in a very long time. Thank you. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, behind every great idea, and believe you me, this market is a great idea, there's a great mind, and I've managed to wheedle it down to one of them that will talk to me. How you doing?
I'm good. Good.
Tell me about the Tour Collective, because you've all got the t-shirts on.
Yeah, so the Tour Collective started in 2022.
Yeah.
I started it myself because
you're an ex-market trader, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah, I am. I now got a little shop in the Gauntlet.
Yeah, oh, right.
Yeah, so I started it up because I needed more markets to trade at in the town.
Yes.
And then we managed to get up here in the church. We've been doing it for 2 years now in the church. And they gave us permission to use the outside. And then we spoke to the council and they said, yeah, brilliant, great idea. Let's have some down by the Market Cross, some by the Memorial.
Yes.
And then we'll start from there and see how it goes. So that's what we've been doing.
And look how popular it is. I mean, it's really busy.
It is.
Absolutely. And I love the fact the stalls are mostly people making the stuff they're selling.
Yeah.
It's very artisanal. Is that the right word? Artisanal.
Yeah.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I burned that word last night. Artisanal. And that's nice to see because markets tend to go a little bit like warehousey, don't they, sometimes?
Yeah.
This is good, and it's good. And the other thing, as we were talking earlier on, the previous vicar, David, removed the pews from this church because he wanted it to become a community asset. Yeah. And because that happened, markets like this can go on and the church becomes the centre of the community. And these guys are helping that happen, which is absolutely essential for the cohesion of the security and community and bringing this sort of thing into town. So thank you very much for doing that.
That's right. I mean, we are local, so you know we live in Glastonbury, and
you care about the community.
That is, that's at the core of everything that we do. Is the community.
Well, long may you prosper, long may it go on, and I'll come back this time next year and we'll see how we're getting on.
Wonderful.
Thanks,
Sounds
guys.
good. Thank you.
And there you go, and I call it our new market, our newest market. Do you go to it? Have you used it, Tara?
No, I think its first one was last month, and I'm afraid I didn't get there, but I definitely intend to be going. And I really love this kind of market and support it. I often thought with the Frost Fair, I wish that sort of market happened more regularly.
It reminds me of the Frost Fair. It really does remind me of the Frost Fair. although I'll probably get shot down for saying this, some of the traders there are, shall we say, larger independent traders. They're not small scale independent traders, where this is pretty much all people working from their living rooms. We're working from their back rooms, whereas the Frost Fest, some of the traders look more like they work from a small workshop. Would you agree
I
with
love
that?
that when you get to meet the artist. Yeah, I think that can increasingly happen, but I love that when you get to meet the artist who made that, whether it's a
Oh, yeah.
painting or a piece of pottery or something. It's just so rich to be able to buy directly from the artist or the person who invented that incredible thing that you didn't think was possible.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more, and that's why I learned the new word, artisanal, because I mean it is very artisanal. And if you want to, one of the things I like about the Heart of the Tribe, the gallery, will be, if we don't run out of time, we might be heading over there later. But the Heart of the Tribe gallery, again, make artists and art accessible to people, and you can go and buy a piece of art from an artist there, and you can buy a piece of art from a person who made it on the market. And I think that's important, because the more accessible art is to people, the more accepting they are of it, and have a more desire for it, which I think is a good thing, because it's nice to surround yourself with nice things. I've actually got now, ladies and gentlemen, Coffee Mate from America. Oh, you're the best. I actually have now in my hall a selection of paintings. Some of them even are of me, although I have hidden those a little bit. One of them's quite big. It was by a local artist, Frank, who's a good friend, and I sat for them. And another one was, I had a caricature done the other week.
I've seen that. It's really good.
It's superb. I think I showed it on here last week. It's brilliant. It's but it's nice that you can access that. I think I've got a piece downstairs that was made by Julian Clark, who runs the gallery, and I've got some other bits and pieces. I've got some of Kim's original work, the lady who does the light painting. And it is nice, but it's just good. And I think, going back to what I said, and it's quite important, churches can become very kind of locked up buildings with an us and them attitude. And traditionally, going back, they were the heart of the community. And I like the idea of churches once again becoming that focus for the community. And both St Benedict's Church and St John's Church in Glastonbury have both had pews removed while under the vicarship of the previous vicar. And I think it was a masterstroke, because now, I mean, the work they do down at St Benedict's, as you know, Tara, with the homeless and stuff, they couldn't do that with pews, and I think it's so good.
It's really incredible. I've been fortunate enough to go to see some of the different things happening in St Benedict's, and I went to St Benedict's school, so it was where we
did you? Right over the road. Ah.
And to see, and St John's, I think we had different services. We went to St John's, and I went to St John's school as well, so I'm not sure whether it was later, but I've definitely been at services at both of them from being a small child. And to see things happening there, the weekly Thursday soup kitchen is a really wonderful thing. It's another one of them things that brings together isolated people, that some people, they really need some nourishment, but some people, the nourishment that they need is company, and to be able to go and sit and have some soup and there just be people around, it's life-changing for people. And I went down to the Monday morning, I think it's Somerset Connections morning in St John's Church, this Monday to talk to people about what we're doing to protect the orchard. And I was just really inspired to see all the people there being, whether they were just meeting each other, whether they were having breakfast because they have tea and toast and some breakfast, or whether it was they were clothed there, clothes sharing, art spaces, comfortable space, some music playing on the pianos. It was a really lovely atmosphere, and I know personally one friend of mine who I feel like it's been part of saving her life. So all of these places where people can go and just have a safe place to go and meet people, have some nourishment, and feel safe and able to connect to the community, they're what makes the community strong.
Of course it is. Of course it is. And we're living in a time now of division. And what you're preaching and what I'm supporting is the opposite of division. It's bringing people back together again, isn't it?
Yes. It's lovely to see. I noticed in the soup kitchen, it wasn't just the people that couldn't afford soup. It was also people that just wanted to meet people, or just needed to get out of the house, or wanted to help people and go volunteer. And I really feel like volunteering is a very good way for people to feel valued in the community, to feel part of things, to interact with different kinds of people and broaden their horizons.
I'm kind of formulating an idea in my head here. Tell me to stop, but you were born in Glastonbury, weren't you?
No, so I came here when I was 2. I've lived in Glastonbury since I was 2.
So effectively,
So since I've just had my 40th birthday, so in 1987 I came to Glastonbury.
wow. I'm just thinking, you've lived your entire life in Glastonbury, and you must have seen lots and lots of changes in Glastonbury. Shops changing, institutions changing, customs changing, new things coming along, old things going away in that period. I'd love to have you come back on the program and talk about that, your experience, because Glastonbury is one of those places where a lot of people you meet weren't born here. I mean, I wasn't. I came here in 1992, so I've been around a little while, although I went and lived in Devon during that period. But I first came here in 92. But a lot of people have arrived in the last 5, 6, 7 years, and I've seen lots of people come and go in that time. I mean, it's a very transient sort of place, isn't it? It'd be interesting to talk to somebody who is like seeing all that going on around them, because it must, because you living here all that time, you must have noticed a lot of these things, I'm guessing.
I'm very happy to come back and speak. It's funny to be in a place where you've lived all your life and there to be so many people you don't know. But I love walking down the high street and seeing so many familiar faces. And yeah, there's positive changes, there's negative changes. I've noticed in the last months while we've been working for protecting the orchard, and the people we've spoken to, and some of them who've for generations have lived in this area, and some of them have really only recently come to just for a moment while you're speaking to them, see the world from the eyes of the person who went out having the tea and cake on the green. The lady came along and she felt quite teary, and she said, my mum and dad were the first people that moved into that house when it was built. I think it was that they were the first people, or that was their first flat together after getting married. It was very special, and it was early on after the house had quite recently been built, and just so interesting to think of. I've seen quite a lot of houses appear since I was a small child, and there's whole areas that weren't there, that were fields that I'd sit in on my way up the hill. But to speak to her, and she remembers it when it was a lot more green. Like the whole of Windmill Hill was green not so very long ago. That
I know.
it's really interesting to think about
'Cause
that.
that state that makes up most of what we call Windmill Hill was all built in one go, wasn't it? Bam, suddenly it was there, largely.
I believe so. Obviously, I wasn't here, but yeah, it is really only in these months that I've really realised how quickly it appeared. I used to walk up past. There was a small path, we called it Muddy Lane, that went near to Jacob's Ladder, and it went up a few fields up Windmill Hill, and that was my favourite way to walk up the hill. And I'd buy a bag of penny sweets, and I'd sit there with my friends on the grass, and hundreds of tiny grasshoppers would jump all over us, and look out across town, and we were in a green meadow. And now that's all houses. And I walked up it the other day. I was like, wow, I've never walked along here when it was houses. This is really a strange experience.
Yeah, it is. It is. Couple of things I just need to. We're almost running out of time. There's a couple of things I want to just get through. As I said earlier on, I'm not going to run the video now because we haven't got time. But Barry, who's in the comments there, sent me a little thing from the BBC News, which was the best news I've had. And it's so great, ladies and gentlemen, to have some good news. So the good news is, I'm going to run it past you and I'll show the video next time, is that if you remember, I did the film when I went to meet Barry and we went out and saw Birkbeck Pier, which is a unique pier. It's the only pier in the country that runs to an island. No others do it. And it was going to be restored. There was a multilateral movement to restore it, involving people like the RNLI, North Somerset Council, all that sort of thing. Anyway, long story short, they got the money and they started about a year ago, just after we did the video. And then all of a sudden, the RNLI, and I'm still not certain what's going on here, pulled out. They'd given already 400,000 for the council to buy the structure and the island. And then they pulled out, taking their 5.5 mil with them. And there was a council meeting scheduled for last Thursday, where they were preparing to cancel the project and walk away from it and kind of mothball it, in the hope that at some point in the future, somebody else might come up with a plan to restore it. Anyway, cut a long story short, Barry sent me this news flash from the BBC, of all people, telling me that not only had the funding been found, but everything was going to go ahead. The National Lottery Heritage Fund, I believe, saw the value and the value that this will bring to that area of Weston-super-Mare, to have this working again. And so that's brilliant. It's just nice to have some good news. So I'm going to get hold of Barry. I told him tonight I'm going to go back out to Weston-super-Mare and we can go back and have them another look. Because apparently they've been doing work on the land side of it, on the buildings there. But now we will see stuff being done to the decking, to the island, to the buildings on the island. And eventually one day we'll be able to walk out there again. That'd be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Next week, the station master is off at the Science Museum, I believe it is. And so therefore he isn't around to do his show. Now, Andrew Murphy from A Moment of Murphy has volunteered, this crazy fool, to step in and take over for the week. So next week, don't forget, head off for A Moment of Murphy at 8 o'clock on next Wednesday. We'll be back the week after, hopefully with Jeff again next time. And I do apologise, please, ladies and gentlemen of the comments area, I have ignored you relentlessly and I put myself at your disposal. I am so sorry. I just can't concentrate on an interesting guest like Tara here and having a conversation and reading this without looking like I'm not listening to Tara. And I can't do that. Jeff is ever so good at it. I'm not. So please, I will read through the comments after the show finishes. So I will read everything that's in there. But I apologize if you've said anything or if you've asked a question. I hope we have some people from your organization in there answering the question. I think, was it Rojo? Rojo? I hope it's the name. Rojo, was it? Roger. Yeah. Has been really active in there answering questions, for which thank you. And again, welcome to the show. Don't be a stranger.
She's wonderful. She's wonderful. She's been a great person to work on this with, as has everyone.
Yeah, I just so hope you win. I hope you win it. I really do. Well, it's 9 o'clock. It's been an absolute pleasure. Tara, thank you on behalf of everybody for the work you and your colleagues are doing. I sincerely hope that next time you're here, it's as a member of the CIC that now owns a field. That would be nice. I will be reporting on it in the meantime, obviously, fingers are crossed. And I'm looking forward to the party and the cakes. I mean, if for nothing else, and bugger the field to get the cakes.
Looking through for our recipes for making some good cakes to celebrate. We've got 1 week left to raise the funds. I think we can do it.
Which we've had. I've had a couple. At least one. Ed Hasseltine has said that he's donated something. So you've had at least one donation this evening. So it was worth coming on.
Everybody has been incredible. There's no way I could possibly say thank you to every single person by name, because there's just so many that it's incredible. Everything that everybody does, whether it's sharing a post or putting in some pennies, it's all absolutely wonderful.
Excellent. And again, one thing, Bernie, thank you for understanding. I was supposed to be going to York next week. In fact, no, that's why Bernie's not doing his show. He's in York, not in Science Museum. I was supposed to be going to meet them up at the Science Museum, but then this croned up, and this is a big local event. This is important. So I'm sticking around to film it, and we're going to be reporting live from the day. So you won't have to wait. That news will hit your phone, your computer screen, your TV as it happens. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be there, won't we?
Yeah.
Anyway,
see you there.
I wish you all a fantastic good night. Thank you all for coming. Again, my huge apologies for not being very good in the comments. Thank you for all of your comments. Thank you for all coming. And we will see you, if not next week on A Moment of Murphy, back here in a fortnight with Jeff. So for now, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.